today we have the protest that ongoing at Keka intersection.
And as the parliamentarians debated the bill seeking to amend the constitution, police battled with the anti-government protesters trying to break through the barriers outside the parliament at Keka intersection throughout the afternoon. And at one point, scuffles also broke out between pro-democracy protesters and royalists dressed in yellow. And recently, Deputy Police Spokesman Police Colonel Krisana Patanajaran said police decided to use water cannons against the protesters after they ignored their warning to step back. He said police had drawn a 50-meter radius around the parliament, which protesters were not allowed to encroach. The police spokesman said police initially used plain water against the protesters, but later resorted to water laced with components of tear gas against them. Earlier in the day, members of the royalist group known as Thai Pakdi rallied at the parliament this morning around 9 a.m. to submit a petition against the bills seeking to amend the constitution. Many of them stayed over and clashed briefly with the anti-government protesters who were there to pressure the parliamentarians to pass the bills. But at one point later, protesters on both sides were seen embracing each other under a hail of projectiles before agreeing to a truce. The parliamentary debate is scheduled to continue through the night, and the vote on the bills will take place tomorrow.
But today in the parliament, around 3:30 p.m., Mr. Pornpet Vichit Cholachai, the Deputy Parliament President, sought approval from the floor for the constitutional amendment draft proposed by ILAW to be presented in the parliament, and the approval was granted. The constitutional draft by ILAW, the one that has been widely opposed by many senators and also by the royalists, actually was discussed in the parliament today.
And to sum up the parliamentary session, they're actually discussing the charter amendments with 7 bills in discussion, and most of them seek changes in the charter. And for tomorrow, they will be voting whether the charter amendments should proceed. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow and what will happen with the ongoing protest.
The draft by ILAW, it is pushing for 5 changes and 5 revocations in current charter, which has been enforced since April 2017. If this draft got endorsed by the parliament, it would lead to at least 4 changes. First one is the Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha, who led the 2014 coup as then Army Chief, would have to step down since he would become unqualified. The second, the junta-appointed Senate would be vacated and replaced by an elected one. Third, a process would begin for the selection of new constitutional court judges and new members of independent organization using provisions under the 1997 Constitution. And the fourth, a new constitution would be drafted by an elected constitution drafting assembly.
As for the latest on the number of injuries, according to Erwan Medical Center, there have been 18 injuries already. 12 of them have been injured from the tear gas, and another 6 have not been confirmed how they got injured, but so far there are 18 injuries already from the protest today.
Probably the police will try their best if the protesters try to get in, but the protesters said it themselves they didn't want to get in, they just want to hang out in front of the parliament compound. And there's the speaker truck of the protest leader, which moved from Keka intersection already to in front of the Parliament House. Tomorrow, as scheduled in the afternoon, it should all finish about 2-3 p.m. and should be voted by the end of the day. So by the end of tomorrow, we would know what will happen with all the 7 constitution drafts that has been discussed in the parliament sessions.